Yes, yes, yes. Welcome to Go Long Live. I am Barry Long, the second, not the first, not the third. I am the second. We are live on CoachellaValley.com, today's California.com, and today's Canada.com. Yes, I'm wearing a new hat today. It's a Seinfeld hat. Shout out to Seinfeld. Everyone who loves Seinfeld. It's got a little different bill than I normally wear. I usually wear the straight bill, but I had to switch it up. Everybody's talking about my hat, so I had to switch it up. Um, we will have no Mo Murphy today. Mo Murphy is dealing with some injury stuff. He may show up if he can. He'll pop up in the feed. We'll see Sage Alvarez here shortly, and we are going to be joined by these guys. Just like we are each and every day. We're here every single Monday through Friday at noon 30. Make sure you join us, and you can comment on today's California.com, CoachellaValley.com. You can also comment on today's Canada.com. Like I said, my name is Barry Long the second. Shout out to Barry Long the first. That's my dad. And shout out to the third. That's my son. And we're going to talk today. We're going to talk some baseball. We're going to talk, both ALCS and NLCS. We had some blowout games yesterday. We're going to talk about those. We're going to also talk about this controversy between whether or not Tua is going to get traded for Deshaun Watson. The Houston Chronicle is reporting that the Houston Texans and the Miami Dolphins are very close in trade talks and getting ready to make it happen before the trade deadline. So we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the preview of tonight's game between the Cleveland Browns, the Doo-Doo Browns, and the and the Denver Broncos. Cleveland coming in very banged up tonight, and the Broncos looking to take advantage of that. We'll talk about that as well. We also got a little bit of controversy going on in the college world as far as with Ed Orgeron not being the coach of LSU next year. There have been some rumors swirling around that maybe Dabo Swinney, maybe Lane Kiffin, maybe some of these coaches are thinking about, just taking up and bouncing on the program that they're with right now. So we'll talk about that as well. But without any further ado, I want to just thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you comment. You can find me on Twitter at Radio Barry Long. I'm also on Facebook at Barry Long space II, and I'm on Instagram at Barry Long _2. Hope you all like the kids shirt. Hope you like the Seinfeld hat. Try to just bring y'all some flavor. Everybody's all too uptight right now, and I'm uptight right now because my Dodgers lost yesterday. Terrible defeat. Just from the beginning, it looked like we were going to lose this game. 9-2. The Braves came out. They hit two solo shots in the second inning, another solo shot in the third inning, followed by an RBI. Then they just kept piling it on. And before you knew it, we looked up at the score and it was 9-2. And we kind of thought that, I said this yesterday, that it seemed like the way that Major League Baseball was playing out this year, in other years, we've seen it play out to where the pitching is what determines who's going to be the champion. Okay. And sometimes the managerial decisions in critical moments of the game is what determines who's going to be the champion. This year, it feels like whoever can hit the most home runs is going to win, is going to be the champion. And I know that there's been a stress on the exit velocity with guys hitting the ball out of the park. There's been a lot of rumors that maybe Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball, has tightened up the seams on the baseball to where they're flying out of the ballpark at crazier rates than they were, maybe in the 90s and early 2000s. Even during the steroid era, we're seeing maybe more home runs per game and higher scores. Whether it has anything to do with any of that, I just know that this is more exciting for the casual baseball fan. And, I would much rather go into a major league game and watch a 1-0, pitchers duel where both pitchers are battling it out. And we've only seen probably 3 base runners left on. The casual fan wants to go and, as they say, chicks dig the long ball. The casual fan wants to go and see home run after home run and wants to see like this one. And I, for one, it irks me sometimes, but at the same time, I just have to accept that this is the way that Major League Baseball is being played right now. So we saw a 9-2. We saw a lot of home runs fly out of the ballpark yesterday. Fun for the casual fan, fun for any Braves fan, not fun for any Dodger fan. We've seen a lot of injuries on the Dodger side. And if you were to tell me, it's so hard, okay? It is so hard to repeat in any sport, Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL. golf, anything. You try to repeat a major in a golf tournament or a tennis tournament, it's difficult. College is difficult. Not when you have Trevor Lawrence or when you have, when you're Alabama, but it's difficult. So baseball is just as difficult, and you have so many factors that come in with pitching, with injuries, with your lineup, just the way things play out. Guys going in slumps in the wrong times. So you have all these things that factor in to whether or not you're going to repeat in a Major League Baseball season, and it's a long season, 162 game season, 150 this year, but it's a long season nonetheless. So you have all these things that factor into it. And so if I were to tell you as a Dodger fan, and yes, that's the reason why I'm not wearing a Dodger hat today, because I'm upset. But if I were to tell you that the Dodgers had lost Dustin May, Clayton Kershaw, you're going to lose Justin Turner for the season with a bad hamstring. You're going to lose Max Muncy. You're not going to get the production from Cody Bellinger that you've had in the previous seasons. You might have to start Albert Pujols at first base, who can't even run to first base some games. So you would tell me, hey, the Dodgers are not going to win, and they're not even going to probably make it to the NLCS, which they did. So I think that as far as the Dodgers have come this season, it's been a great run for a team that has been banged up and has been battered and bruised throughout the entire season. And it was an up and down season with the whole division, the way it was playing out. Even though they won a lot of games, it was a battle between them and the Giants, and at some part of that season, it was a battle between them and the Padres in the wild card. So the Dodgers are really licking their wounds right now, and because of the format, it's 2-3-2, so they don't have a day, to rest between game 5 and game 4 and game 5. So being down 3-1 right now, you got to go and play tonight at Dodger Stadium. So it could be the final game of the season for the Dodgers. The way that the morale has been, and just the way that the Braves have been hitting the ball at such a high level. And on the Braves side, you gotta tip your caps to that team. Brian Snitker has been pushing all the right buttons. And when they lost Acuna Jr. earlier in the season with that ACL terrible knee injury, you thought, man, the Braves are done because this is their best player. And you could see the devastation on the Braves players that were in the field and that were in the dugout when they were going through, taking them off the field. And you thought, man, the season is over. But Albie stepped up. You got a guy named Riley stepping up. You got Duvall. You got Rosario. You've got some really good players on this team, and the pitchers have been stepping up as well. And I'm not a Braves fan. My dad is a Braves fan. My best friend is a Braves fan. A lot of people back home are Braves fans. Shout out to Tim Whaley. Just an amazing run for this Braves team. And they're getting, the right hitting and the right pitching at the right times. So if you're a Dodgers fan right now, you can't. I mean, this is a rematch of last year's NLCS. So we're probably going to see maybe the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are going to fight. They're going to fight like hell tonight. I think they're going to come back with a victory. But you got 2 games in Atlanta, and I don't expect the Dodgers to get out of Atlanta as the victors. But if they do, anybody knows about a comeback victory in a series after being down 3-1, 3-0, it's Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts was on that team in 2004 on the Boston Red Sox when they came back from down 0-3 in the ALCS against the Yankees. And as a matter of fact, he had the stolen base that probably was the most infamous stolen base in all of Major League Baseball playoff history. If you don't remember, he was the guy at first base that kind of got that rally started in that game 4 and turned the entire series around. And everybody in that stadium knew that Dave Roberts had wheels. Everybody knew that he came in specifically to steal a base. Everybody knew what pitch he was running on, and he still stole that base. So shout out to Dave Roberts. He played the game at an exceptionally high level, and he was one of the fastest players to ever play the game. But now he's down 3-1, and he's got to somehow galvanize the troops and get them ready for this game tonight. We are Go Long Live. This is Barry Long, the second, not the first, not the third. Going to be joined by Mo Murphy and Sage Alvarez maybe later. If not, we just going to roll with the punches. We'll do it live. We're live on CoachellaValley.com. We're live on Twitter. We're live on today'scalifornia.com. We're live on today'scanada.com. Now, on the AL side of things, we saw doesn't this score look very similar to the one that I just showed you? This one? Yes. It's crazy. This is the way the Major League Baseball has been happening. This playoffs have been playing out. So For all my baseball conspiracy theorists that think about the balls being tightened, maybe they are. I don't know. But all I know is that the Houston Astros are hitting the ball out of the park exceptionally well. And then in the past games in this series, the Boston Red Sox have hit the ball exceptionally well. Seems like whoever the first one to 9 is going to win. And this year, baseball has just been playing out like that. But what I saw, and my takeaways from this game, and I fully expect this series to go 7. All right, now they go back to Houston. And we're going to see 2 games in Houston. It's the 2-3-2 format. I fully expect Boston to bounce back from having a poor struggle night from the plate. But on the other side, Framber Valdez, the pitcher for the Astros, went 8 innings, which we had not seen major league pitchers do that consistently this season. I believe there was a stat last night that I heard watching the game that the average starter this year is only averaging 69 pitches. Okay, I was born in the 80s, 86. And so I watched in the 90s. I watched Nolan Ryan, Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez. I watched John Smoltz, Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine. So the greats pitch, the guys that used to start the game and end the game and get complete games with 130 pitches, 120 pitches. I know that baseball has turned into this analytical kind of new school game where even the kids that are up and coming pitchers, they don't want to be starters. They'd rather be relievers. It's just the way that the game has evolved. So you got guys that don't go 9 innings anymore. They don't go 8. They don't go 7. Hell, they don't even go 6. They just go 5 in the third so they can get credit for the win. Now, you see a lot of this a lot of times, and it's just one of those things where, pitchers are being, played around with. They're being toyed with. You got guys starting one day, starting on short rest a couple days later. You got guys that are going from a starter to a reliever from game to game. You don't know what you're going to expect. But yeah, hitting has been key in these series, and it's been wonderful to watch for the casual fan. But I fully expect this to go 9. I fully expect this series to go 7 games. But I was impressed with what I saw from Framber Valdez, the pitcher of the Astros, going 8 innings, throwing 93 pitches. Really had that sinker ball working really well. And he pitched a phenomenal game. How you doing today, Sage Alvarez?
Hey, how's it going, Barry? Long the second, not the first, not the third.
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. You see my little Seinfeld hat? I had to switch up the hat again for everybody out there.
Hey, they love the hats. I get messages like anticipating. I think there's actually like some gambling, probably some push-ups on the line. Like what type of hat he's gonna wear, what color is gonna be. Like there's some drinking games involved. That's all right. You can take a shot now.
Wow, that's good, man. That's good. This is a little dad hat, a little curve build. Had to switch it up today, but Now, I went through a whole bunch of baseball. I spent probably too much time talking about baseball. We only got 30 minutes. But I wanted to wait for you before I got to this topic. Now, this is a very serious topic that's going on right now. A lot of people are talking about what they're going to do with Tua Tagovailoa down in Miami. The Houston Chronicle, John McClain from the Houston Chronicle is reporting that Miami Dolphins and Houston Texans are very close to reaching a deal for Deshaun Watson. And it basically means that Tua Tagovailoa is done in Miami. Now, a lot of people have been very critical of Tua. Since entering in the league, he's been injury prone. He's had some flashes and some good games. He showed even this past game, he threw for 300 yards, but it was in a loss to a team that lost 20 games in a row before that. Now, Tua Tagovailoa, he has 5 touchdowns this season, 6 interceptions. He's struggling. Not living up to the hype that he had coming out of college. Do you think it's too early to get rid of Tua Tagovailoa and give up on him now that they're 1-5 and Brian Flores' job is potentially on the hot seat? Or do you think that they should stick with him and try to see where this goes?
It's a sensitive topic because you understand if Watson's innocent, they're making the right move going after Watson right now. It's a huge gamble. I think what it comes down to is if it doesn't pan out, they're almost essentially saying we would rather choose another quarterback. And I'm not giving up on Tua, but Miami's already looking out the other side of the relationship. They're already looking at the other girls, if you know what I'm saying. They're already looking at other options.
It's Miami. What do you expect? I mean, it's the fast life.
Can you do that again?
Hey.
I was like, this guy.
But yeah, man, it's Miami. I mean, I've never been to Miami, but I know from what I've seen on TV and just what I've heard and what I saw on Scarface that it's the fast life down in Miami. So, yeah, I mean, Tua hasn't wowed people. He hasn't lived up to that Alabama status of quarterback. And I think that it's and his problem is that he's not getting the ball downfield. And you got guys like Jalen Waddle, you got guys like Devontae Parker, guys who can stretch the field. And it's time for them to get a quarterback who is on their level. And then you got a guy who is trying to coach the hell out of this defense in Brian Flores. And he was getting the most out of them last year. I know they haven't been as effective as they were last year, but if they can start playing better and they get better play out of the quarterback position, they don't lose games like to the Jaguars. So I think that if you can go out and get this guy, Deshaun Watson, I think it's time to go out and get him, whether or not he can play this year or not. Because if you get him for the next 5 to 6 years, you got a great chance of winning. What do you think?
They have a phenomenal chance of winning with Watson. He's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now. So, that's why it's a very sensitive topic. And when you see just from our side, we really don't know the facts. So we just gotta wait for all the facts for us to make a conclusion on what's really, because right now it's a lot of just speculation. It's a lot of what ifs, and right now it's why it's very sensitive right now. There's a lot of people involved, and I want to be as careful as I can be with that topic.
Yeah, absolutely. And we would like anybody to comment on right now. We are live on CoachellaValley.com. Today's California. Today's Canada.com. We are also live on Twitter, and we are talking Tua right now. Please come in and join the topics. I got a couple comments from Yolanda Johnson. She said she doesn't have expectations, I guess, for tonight's game for the Dodgers. We are talking Tua right now. Sage has already commented. We are Coachella Valley's live sports talk show. We are right here live from the Coachella Valley, live in Palm Springs area, where we just had the BNP Paribas. And that was an exciting tournament, an exciting time for this area. We got a lot of people that come in, spend a lot of money. And the economy is booming when we have, tournaments like that in the tennis tournament, the Coachella Fest, Stagecoach. So it's a great area to be in. But yeah, right now we're talking Tua Tagovailoa and Deshaun Watson. And we don't know what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson as far as the legal proceedings that's going to happen, because he has 20 plus women that are accusing him of sexual misconduct. And it's not a criminal charge yet brought against him, but there are several civil cases. And if these don't start getting settled pretty soon, I don't see him playing anytime soon. So maybe Miami knows something that we don't know, and maybe they're willing to take a risk on going out and getting him because of the future and the prospect of having him for the future. So it'll be interesting to see. But at the end of the day, a team is not going to go out and put out this kind of energy and this kind of statement and this kind of just and let this story kind of swirl around without shooting it down immediately if they're not really on board and if the owner is not on board as well. So maybe there is some.
The owner's pushing it. The owner's definitely
pushing it.
He's the one that there's no one else but the owner making this, because at the end of the day, everyone else, you got to believe in Tua, and until that trade happens, because if it doesn't happen, he's your guy at the end of the year.
Yeah, do you feel bad for Tua right now? Because we've seen other superstars have to deal with this. This is part of sports.
He's not a superstar.
Well, other sports celebrities, other sports players, other quarterbacks.
Right now,
they have to deal with.
He's in the 20 through 30, so he should be very concerned, because if you're in the 20 through 30, your job is literally in a revolving door. Like, you are not safe, and there is no feeling bad for you. There's just you either are in you're either in the top 15 and secure a spot as a starting quarterback, because if you're in the top 15, there's a belief that you could probably win a Super Bowl if you have the right circumstances along with you. So, but if you're not in the top 15 or in the top 13, your job is never safe. The team is always looking for a top 5 QB. Their teams are always like, let's just part ways at the end of the contract. We'll draft a contract-friendly rookie quarterback who could potentially be way better than you.
And even if you're Aaron Rodgers, your job's not always safe because they're gonna go out and draft a guy like Jordan Love, who they're predicting.
And then turn the whole decision around, and then try to offer him a long-term contract. Yeah. And it's just like, come on, like he doesn't want anything to do with you.
Yeah. So if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're looking at this Tua situation. You're like, bro, you're not even top 20. Like, come on, man. I'm dealing with the same stuff you're dealing with. You're not even top 20. So get over it. So yeah,
right.
You're
absolutely because Aaron Rodgers is a superstar. He's a superstar.
He's a superstar. He's top 5, maybe top 3 in the league. Ahmad Kasimi says hi. Shout out to Ahmad Kasimi right now. We are Go Long Live. I am Barry Long. This is Sage Alvarez next to me, and we are talking about being on the hot seat as a quarterback, and not knowing if you're going to be the starter. And in the Cleveland, we have a similar situation. We have a guy who has basically been a career backup in Case Keenum. He is going to be starting for the Cleveland Browns tonight. Now, the Cleveland Browns are really banged up. They don't have Kareem Hunt. They don't have Nick Chubb. They don't have they're banged up on the O-line right now. It's just looking really bad. They don't have Baker Mayfield due to a torn labrum in his non-throwing shoulder. Now, you would think that wouldn't affect him as much, but there's a lot of movement going around with your left shoulder if you're throwing from your right hand, from your right shoulder. So at the same time, it is an injury that has hampered him and that has made him play not as well as he could play. So they've decided to go with Case Keenum. Now, Case Keenum is basically your career backup. He had a quote earlier this week that said something like, "I've gone through it all. I've gone through not knowing if I'm going to start, not knowing if I'm going to play, not knowing the guys I'm playing with, all to introducing myself to the guys in the huddle during the game that I'm playing with because it's the first time I've met them." So Case Keenum has definitely been a journeyman quarterback. He's played on the Houston Texans. Of course, before he got to the Houston Texans, undrafted, by the way, he was a star at the University of Houston for 4 years. He won he led the league in passing yards, touchdowns for a couple years, and still holds the record at Houston. But then he was undrafted to the Houston Texans, went to the Rams, went back to the Texans, went back to the Rams in St. Louis, then went over to Los Angeles and was the Rams quarterback there for a year. Then went up to Minnesota, down to Denver, across the United States to Washington. Now he's back on Cleveland. And I've always rooted for a guy like Case Keenum because he just has some grit, some toughness to him. I don't care if I'm not starting or not. I don't care if people like me or want me to start or not. The fans are behind me or not. The head coach is a good head coach or not. I'm just going to put my helmet on. I'm going to strap it up, and I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to get the job done. And he's always been more successful than he's failed. He's gotten career 75 touchdowns to 47 interceptions, completion percentage of 62%, passer rating lifetime of 85. Not the best quarterback in the league, certainly not top 20 in the league, but certainly somebody that will come in and step in and could win a game for you. How do you feel about Case Keenum?
Well, I'm starting to feel a lot more confident after I had to pick him up in my fantasy football, my dynasty football league, because I had no QB for my 2 QB league because I have Dak and Derek Carr, and they both have back-to-back. Like it's it's Dak this week, and then next week is Derek Carr.
Oh man!
So I was like, I'm not trying to start a verse here. So Case Keenum, he's good. They're not going to win this game. They don't have Nick Chubb, who needs to be there to really get the team going. And then also the second best offensive player on the team, Kareem Hunt. He's not there. Odell, I hope this can be the connection where they can show Baker how he can get going. Yeah. Because right now, Odell and Baker, they're not connecting. So it'll be interesting to see if Case Keenum can show Baker a little bit. I mean, obviously the talent's going to show up eventually because he's a backup for a reason. Yeah. But we're gonna hope that he can get Odell going, so when Baker gets back, they can get that train rolling at least to save this season to really get momentum and secure a playoff spot.
Absolutely, and that's been the problems ever since Odell's been on the Browns is they can't get him involved, and it feels like Baker Mayfield is forcing the ball to him a lot of times. Sometimes it feels like Baker Mayfield just just really is so focused in on Odell Beckham that he forgets the rest of the offense. And then when Odell Beckham goes out with an injury, it seems like Baker Mayfield becomes a total different quarterback than he was before Odell Beckham when he was in the lineup. So it seems like that's definitely had a problem on his psyche, or maybe just the aura of Odell Beckham is so powerful that it's like, man, I got to get the ball to him. But yeah, maybe Case Keenum can step in, show him how to get him involved, and maybe there can be some chemistry between Case and Odell Beckham that we'll see for the next coming weeks, because we don't know how long Baker Mayfield's going to be out. We know he's going to fight like hell to get back, but we don't know how long he's going to be out actually. Because
what are the reports saying? That what's the estimate? Is it just week to week?
Just week to week. Right now, it's just week to week. But torn labrum. I mean, it's one of those injuries that can really, really linger on and get worse as the season goes on and as you play more and as it gets touched and aggravated. We've seen that happen with Dwight Howard. He had a torn labrum when he was with the Lakers, and it seemed like it never got right until he took a year and really sat out for a whole year. So.
They did rush him. They rushed him back too soon with the Lakers.
And
that was a huge regret for them.
And you hope that the Browns don't rush Baker Mayfield back. And Case Keenum is serviceable for a couple games. He ain't gonna get you to the playoffs, and he definitely ain't gonna win a playoff game for you. Not in that division, not in the AFC. But I definitely think Case Keenum, I'm rooting for him tonight, and I think that they're going to lose. I think the Broncos have something to prove right now. I think Teddy Bridgewater has heard the whispers of maybe Aaron Rodgers coming to Denver, maybe Deshaun Watson coming to Denver, and Teddy Bridgewater is ready to use some of those weapons that he has, and I feel like the Browns are just battered and bruised, and they're coming in beat up, and this is not a good week for them, a short week for them as well, and I feel like the Broncos are just going to be riding high tonight. And the Broncos I think it's going to be a beat down. I mean, I'm saying 35-14. I'm going a beat down. What do you say?
You said who?
I got the Broncos beating the hell out of the Doo-Doo Browns.
35-14.
Yeah, that's serious. Maybe I should go.
Teddy going off. Who's going off? Who's going off for the Broncos?
I'm gonna go. Teddy's going off. I digress. Let me go back. I'm gonna say 28-14, 28-17, 28-17. Final answer. Final answer. All right. What do you say?
I'll say 29-18.
Sage Alvarez always coming with the hilarious take. All right, yeah, 29.
But I'm taking the Broncos. I'm taking I'm calling it right now. The person who for sure gets a touchdown this game is Tim Patrick.
Okay.
He's going to get the touchdown. I'm calling it right here.
I like
Uncle Chella Valley Live Sports Talk Show. Go along. Calling it right now.
Oh, yeah, you heard it here first. So when it happens, y'all better be thinking about this moment right now.
I had a buddy call me on Super Bowl morning, and his name's Ty. He used to play college basketball. He calls me. He's like, who's going to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl? And I was like, it's going to be Gronk.
And that was a crazy prediction at that moment, because he wasn't catching touchdowns up until the Super Bowl. He was basically used as a blocker.
And he put it as the first touchdown too.
That's
so
crazy.
He won that much. Yeah, he was in Vegas at the time.
Did he give you any money from that? Did you get a cut?
He don't need to. Nah, that's on him, man. Nah. I thought that was pretty cool. I'm like, hey,
I would have asked for
my bro. That's all. He made the risk. I didn't. I could have made that myself. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so let me ask you this real quick, Sage. We don't have much time, but now there have been some reports that first of all, Ed Orgeron has said that him and LSU are parting ways. Y'all know Ed Coach. Oh, he talks like this. Talks like Oscar the Grouch. Now,
it's bad.
Now, a lot of people have considered this a premier job in college. A lot of people have considered it not. I want to know because they've already linked my man Lane Kiffin. And that's me and Lane Kiffin. I met him out here a few years ago. They've already linked him and Dabo Sweeney.
Wait, let me see that one more time.
That's me and Lane. Me and Lane at Pandix. Yeah, that's me and Lane at Pandix.
Hey, what hat is that?
That's a Colorado Rockies hat. That's a Colorado Rockies hat. No, I'm not a Rocky.
Are you gonna rock that tomorrow?
No, I might not.
How you not gonna rock the Colorado hat on the same show where you met Lane Kiffin? Come on, man. Come on, man.
But yeah. So. They got Lane Kiffin and Dabo Sweeney linked to this jobs. Do you think this is a premier job? Like, would you leave? Would you leave Clemson to go to LSU? Would you
No,
leave Ole
it's not
Miss?
it's not one of those jobs. Well, they're already at a great situation. So no, I wouldn't leave. But the Ed story is so bad. I had to touch on that just briefly.
Yeah,
It
go ahead.
was appalling, and there's it feels like there's a lot more hidden to it than what appears to be, even in the reports. And for him to make that comment on one of the administrators' wives in front of high-ranking officials,
Talking about the blonde.
yeah, he was. They're like,
What exactly did he say?
I'll make I'll even go back and quote this, go back and double check this, but it was where he was like, hey, like you're looking good, like working out. We should both work out together. And then someone was mentioned like that was someone's wife, and he's like, I don't, or someone's pregnant wife. He's like, what does that matter? And yeah, and that was in front of like some like high officials, and word got back to the actual husband of the wife.
Yeah.
And once that happens, it's
and this is
your job
2021.
ain't safe.
This is 2021. You can't just say anything that you feel. This is not the 90s anymore. So yeah, I mean it is funny.
He's for sure like he's trying to hit on her, and it's like, and she's like pregnant, and it's one of your own schools. Why administrator wives? It's like that's all bad, and
all bad.
It's truly embarrassing for him and his family. Like,
and
I feel bad.
It'd be interesting to see if he gets a job at all after this.
I don't think he does. I don't think there's little certain things you might not. I mean, he might be forgiven. I'm not saying he should. We do want to give second chance, but in the leadership role, like is that who we want as our leaders?
There's certain
things it's like you kind of cross it, man.
And like John Gruden will never get a job again. He crossed
I don't
certain
believe
lines.
so. I know
he crossed certain lines, and Ed Orgeron, he'd be lucky to get a job again. All right, so tomorrow is going to be Fed Up Friday. Hopefully, I'm not fed up with the Dodgers. Hopefully, the Dodgers win tonight. I'm praying to God, please let the Dodgers win tonight. I know it's not right to involve religion in the sports, but for tonight, just please extend the series, and let's see what the Dodgers can do heading back to Atlanta. But so it's Fed Up Friday tomorrow. We'll have Mo Murphy on. We'll talk some college football. We'll get his takes on the Tua and the Deshaun Watson trade that may go down, and we'll talk some NFL. We'll pick games, and we'll talk to Sage, and we'll have a good time, man. So Sage, tell them where they can find you at real quick.
Hey, y'all can find me at Twitter at Sage_up. You can find me on Instagram at Sage_up. And you can find me on Facebook at Sage Alvarez. All I do is a friend.
And you can find me at Barry Long space II on Facebook, at Barry Long _2 on IG, and on Twitter at Radio Barry Long. Remember, stay focused, stay motivated, stay inspired, and remember, you're capable of doing anything. So go out right now and do it right now. Just like the Dodgers are about to go out right now and win Game 5. Let's go. Let's go, Dodgers. All right, see y'all tomorrow. Peace.